Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in-depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. Tier Wrestling is now in your city. I'm your host, Big Josh Uso, and joining me is main event Dawn Uso. Tonight we're breaking down WWE RAW from December 7th. Yeet, yeet. All right, and this episode of RAW is coming to us. I lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. Our episode is coming from Kansas City, Missouri.
It was that opener. It was too intense.
It was too intense. I was like, we're now in your city. And we opened the show kind of limp with Gunter coming to the ring. And I say that because I feel like this particular opener is to serve to try and, get us on board with everyone who felt like, but Gunter, though, at the end of the Last Time Is Now tournament, where I feel like a lot of folks were hopeful that LA Knight would be the winner. And I'm going to take this moment to say that Gunter's music that he has returned with,
oh my lord,
I hate it. I feel like I'm a fan of orchestral music, but he picked like something that falls somewhere between Flight of the Bumblebee and like
Harry
Dance
Potter.
of the Sugar Plum Fairies and Harry Potter. Yeah, like it doesn't evoke any kind of menace, and it doesn't have a unique enough identity. I mean, at least his last music, as silly as it is, if you actually listened to what was being said, was identifiable as Gunter. This just sounds like they picked a random orchestral piece and said, there you go. Like, is this the most low effort, non like good music? It's so generic.
I hate it.
So I figured that was topical with Gunter coming out. Don't love the music.
It absolutely is. I fucking hate that song. I hate it. I hear that song and I'm expecting a German pirate to come out. It ain't my favorite.
No, it doesn't have any kind of unique through line or rhythm or even a good, I don't know, harmony to latch onto. Daniel Bryan or Brian Danielson, whichever configuration of his two names you want to put, depending on where he worked last. He was going with like, what was it? I think
Flight of the Bumblebees.
like Throne of the Mountain King or Flight of the Valkyries, one of those two, which are much stronger pieces that people can identify with, and it's dynamic enough to be something that I would expect out of like a sports entertainer. The age of like pro wrestlers coming to the ring with some shit that sounds so downbeat as to be either like emo or elevator music fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Like this does not make me think, a warrior is coming to the ring. It's like, this is stupid. So already we're off to a not great start because I feel like this is just going to be damage control for the fallout of the Last Time Is Now match that everybody was let down by. And couple that with the fact that I just don't like this music for the reasons stated. But long story short, Gunter makes his way to the ring, and he more or less says that he's going to make John Cena do something he's never done, and that is tap out, quit. He's going to choke him out and force him to give up because he says he'll never do that. I mean, I'm like, my dude is retiring. It's his last match. you know,
Yeah.
I would say he went the distance by the time the opening bell starts. And for the record, there were a couple of other folks that have made John Cena tap out. It didn't happen often, that's true, but never. Uh, Kurt Angle would like to have words with you. Chris Benoit, not so much. Uh,
Chris
so
Benoit
it
has
has
nothing to
happened
say.
before, no. And that was basically it. Like he came to try and just put some heat on this match with Cena. And I mean, I guess I don't blame him, but it really does feel like it was just a response to outcry.
I agree. Um, this whole that whole like this whole comp, this whole um the time is now. Excuse me. Competition has been cheeks. It's been a letdown. It's essentially been WrestlePalooza. Um, like it's been a letdown. It's been a nothing burger that led to what we knew it was going to lead to way back in August of this year. So it was kind of ass. And this is what happens when you don't give a shit about kayfabe anymore, Triple H. When you don't give a shit about kayfabe, your stories are just kind of out there at any given time, and that surprisingly makes your fans lose interest. Your story here for Gunther and why he's the guy, it's lame. The matches were lame. Like this was a nothing burger. This whole comp.
Yeah.
With some of the weirdest individuals that look, it would have been more entertaining had our truth won. Real talk.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
would have been way more entertaining.
And I feel like you should have done something like it's not like they're unaware of like when a leak has occurred on the internet. Like they don't know. Like, oh, we had no idea that since August, pretty much it's been known that Gunter was the guy. But why not pivot? Like if I were telling a story and I wasn't particularly stuck on the ending, and everybody knew it was happening. Let's say that I write this episodically because that's how WWE is. Wouldn't you have done something to kind of swerve it a little bit? You know,
Well, I guess they didn't
because
give a shit.
we all know that it's scripted. We all know that it's predetermined. You know, so the on its face, in only in the kayfabe is it a big question. Who will John Cena face when we've known since August?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like creatively, WWE has just really done a poor job in 2025. They did a bad job with Goldberg's retirement. They did a bad job with like Cena's last year. You know, I'm hearing on the internet that initially John Cena wanted to do a much more full set of appearances. And then he does go on to suggest that he thought better of it because while his spirit was willing, his flesh was not. And that's
Yeah.
understandable. It's the reason he's retiring. He stated as much. But there's a wide gap between like I think he said something like 200 plus appearances and like the 36 they gave us. And then out of those 36, they wasted half the year on a go nowhere, cheap seat filler pop idea using The Rock and a heel turn and some shit that
Ugh.
just fell on its face because while it could generate a hook, lots of initial interest, they didn't have a game plan.
Which is
So
surprising.
so
You
we
that's a huge storyline to not have a game plan on. Like that's huge.
yeah. I mean, and game plan being the operative word. Like this is Triple H's wheelhouse right here, right? This is just the Triple H era. He wants all the credit in the world for when it goes right, but when it gets fucked off and it's not going so well, well, it's just a work, and everybody on the internet can shut the fuck up. Literally, Triple H's words. So you can't be responsible for the praise and not responsible for the failures. And I feel like WWE has just dropped the ball writ large in 2024. WrestlePalooza was a mistake, like just an
Oh
absolute
God.
nightmare. I hear nothing that suggests that ESPN is anything but unhappy with that stuff. So to circle it back to why it's relevant to John Cena, like this dude put in 25 years of what is actually like a legitimate GOAT career, and it's like they don't know what to do with him. And this
Yeah.
is kind of another example of that. Like John Cena says he wants to put over new talent. You've got LA Knight and Jey Uso that have been fighting to get into a top spot. And I guess they're not technically new talent, but neither is Gunter. Like, does he
Yeah.
need the rub, or did his 666 day reign as IC champion and 2 world heavyweight championships not do it enough?
No, I guess they. I don't know. I don't know. I can speculate and guesstimate all day long as to why they decided that Gunther was the guy, for whatever reason. But uh, if they had given me um literally anything other than it was predestined in August, anything. I mean, like, look, I would have gone with anything. Real
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, and
I'm
zero
simple.
buildup.
I'm easy. I want. I absolutely want to be sold on any idea. Give me the kayfabe, man. Sell it to me. I will freaking take it. Like I'm here to mark out. You guys, like, there ain't no shame. I'm here to mark out. Here, take my money. You guys are doing some shit that I can never do in this lifetime. You guys are entertaining me unbelievably so, and you're risking your lives, your limbs for this industry. Here, take my money. Let's go. Give me a reason. Instead, instead they give me pushback. They give me attitude. They give me shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and the problem I'm trying to illustrate here as I read off the litany of sins is on more than one of those occasions, there's an opportunity to have wowed us. You could have wowed us with making WrestlePalooza kick ass. You could have wowed us with John Cena's last year. You could have done something really special with Goldberg's retirement. And that's me not even going that far back into the year. Um, and it just seems like at every one of these turns, like with the tournament, right? The initial pitch felt like it was full of like potential, like, oh, people
Yeah.
that don't
Yes.
even work here. What if it's a surprise talent? Who knows?
Yes.
And unfortunately, they went with like the least, I don't know, the least interesting possible options where they could have gone with something way cooler. Like the guys being in the tournament that we hadn't seen before were Matt Cardona and Dolph Ziggler. And no offense to Matt Cardona and Dolph Ziggler, but they're not at the top of like anyone's fantasy booking of who could randomly show up, maybe, like I don't know if the business technicalities were too big of an issue for something like Chris Jericho or Adam Copeland. I don't know
Well, Chris
that
Jericho wouldn't have been able to because of his contract with AEW. Like that wasn't, it wasn't over yet, right?
yeah. And I don't know. I'm not a fly on that wall, but historically, the barricade to that being something that's possible to occur hasn't been AEW.
No.
Again, back what was it in like 23 or 24? Randy Orton had his 20th year anniversary thing, and even AEW guys were able to send like video packages to talk about that because Tony Khan respected that regardless of the promotion, these guys all worked with each other. So I'd be hard pressed not knowing anything other than that to suggest that, we couldn't have had this happen because of Tony Khan. Um, but I have heard things like um, a more recent example being uh, I'm blanking on the gentleman's name, but the current president of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, oh crap.
Hold on.
Uh, I f the second you say his name, it starts with an H, right?
Yeah, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Thank you.
Hiroshi Tanahashi, who was going to retire, I think in 2024, stuck around a little bit longer because there was a need for him to stay longer as an in-ring performer. But now he is finally going ahead with he's going ahead with his retirement upcoming, I think, in 2026, right at the beginning.
Mhm.
And one of the wrestlers that he was interested in wrestling was Shinsuke Nakamura because him and uh, Shibata over in AEW used to have a huge faction there. The point that I'm trying to get to is WWE made it absolutely impossible for that to occur. And from the story that I'm hearing was that they initially agreed to release Shinsuke Nakamura, and then at the last moment they were like, "Well, no, he could do it, but he has to wrestle under a WWE contract," and it just made it impossible. So that wasn't going to happen. So the roadblock I've seen in every one of these stories that I've ever heard of is always that WWE insists on maintaining absolute control. And I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of see that as a through line, right? Like, AEW generates a working relationship with New Japan. WWE, who is the biggest control freak in the thing, buys AAA to do a
Yeah.
similar thing so that they can control it from the top down. Like, that's not a working relationship. That's you bought them.
Yeah.
So I don't think if those things couldn't happen that it was on anyone other than WWE. And those would have been way cooler. Like that would have been the way to go is like surprise, here's Edge or surprise, here's Chris Jericho. Two men that have both throughout the years had amazing feuds with John Cena and would have made the Time Is Now tournament like insane.
Yep.
Another surprising thing would have been like, oh no, XYZ had to drop out of the tournament even though they were winning. Like Sheamus. Sheamus is a good example. Sheamus would have been a fantastic winner of this tournament given his
Yeah.
history with John Cena. They could have done something great there. But I mean, if he gets injured, he gets injured. That happened. But like then suddenly R-Truth shows up. That could have been compelling at least, and it's like they did the least interesting possible things they could, and then even knowing that Gunter was leaked as the guy, they didn't do anything to try and like make it surprising at all. So it's like with every big thing, the excitement that could have been a storyline of John Cena having done a heel turn falls on its face. So we wasted the last year of John Cena.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately feel like they just haven't been firing on all cylinders with being able to deliver. And I hear what you're saying, and I feel the same general sentiment is that I would like to mark out for them. But it's difficult to mark out. And by marking out, I mean like I want to be able to say good things. I am a fan of this product, and I actually want to buy into the kayfabe. It's difficult for me to believe that you care if I buy into the kayfabe or mark out for your product when you seem to have contempt for kayfabe.
Yeah.
But I believe the point is made, so I will move on. That brings us to our first match of the night, which is Io Sky with Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane with Asuka. And just to give my brief thoughts on this match, it was an okay match. I The in ring isn't anything I had to complain about. Like Io always looks good, and Sane has been looking better. But I did find it strange that this is the second of two singles matches where the Kabuki Warriors didn't participate as a tag team, but it's Kairi Sane. Like why not alternate? Like here's Asuka in one of them and here's Sane in the other. Instead, it's been Kairi in both, and Kairi, you know, gets annihilated in both of them.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, this was an okay match. It wasn't like great to start the show, but it wasn't bad. I mean, you got to get people popping for Rhea Ripley coming to the ring, and Io Sky is great, inarguably. I can't, she gets a huge pop for the little, I'm an adorable kitten that happens to also kick ass head pointies thing. But not off to like a flaming hot start is kind of my impression here. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't as you said, I wrote in my notes that I can't quite put my finger on it, but this felt like deja vu. There was nothing wrong with this match in general. Like nothing wrong. Overall, it was a decent opener. But it was a decent opener if not for names alone. How about that? Um Rhea could have come out there with the top hat on and a cane and saying, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime." Yeah. And people would have been like, "Yeah." So it doesn't matter. Yeah. And if not for name alone, it was a decent opener. Was it like, fireworks and confetti and kittens floating down? No, but it was just okay. And there was nothing that he did in the ring that was like, "What?" It was all just okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it. It was just a match. It
A safe
didn't blow
match.
me away. Yeah, it was safe. So not really having too much else to say there. Um, we are then taken after Io Sky, of course, beats Kairi Sane because why wouldn't she? How could she not without a ton of overt interference with Io Sky as her opponent?
Yeah.
Let's see. So after that match, we head to the Vision's locker room, and we see Logan Paul come into the locker room, and he's all upset, and he asks if anyone saw Rey Mysterio slap him in the face last week. And Bronson Reed's like, "Well, I
Just
I
now
didn't
coming
like
in
it."
there. Hey, I didn't like it.
Yep. And Logan insists that something needs to be done, and Breaker jumps up and says, "All right, they'll take care of it." And Logan then asks Paul Heyman to talk privately. And I find it funny that talk privately is literally to step like a foot to the right, where Breaker and Reed could still hear everything. But all right. Uh, and he goes on to say that the Rey Mysterio situation is getting handled tonight. Um, and Heyman says, "Yeah, for the first time, you'll have some backup." And Logan says he appreciates that, but wants all of them to know that if they get in trouble, he'll be their backup too. And Heyman goes on to say that he didn't think he could respect Logan more than he does right now. And he then hands Logan the brass knuckles just in case. And that's that. So apparently Logan Paul is now like an actual member of the Vision?
Oh, looks like it.
Question mark.
And all jokes aside, it makes perfect sense that Paul would take Logan under his wing. Like he is, in my opinion, worth the hype in the ring. Like like he's got Paul Heyman guy all over him.
He does. He absolutely does. And I think that would actually be a good move, especially if Logan's wanting to work more. And it seems that he does. Like he's showing up more regularly for television, not just, a big appearance at PLEs. So that's good. I'm here for it because I think Logan is very talented in the ring and he's
Mm,
getting better at evoking a character and cutting promos. Um, and I think he just makes a very natural heel because
yeah,
people want to hate him. Uh, After that, we see uh, Rey Mysterio making his way to the ring, and as he's walking through the back, in the background, Pierce is yelling at someone, anyone. He's just always angry and yelling, but in this case, he's angrily yelling at the New Day and Grayson Waller, who are angrily yelling back. Um, And that sets the stage for the second match, which is Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor.
match of the night.
Perhaps the shortest because on his way to the ring, Logan Paul jumps Mysterio from behind and proceeds to start just beating Mysterio's ass. And he sucker punched him and then threw him into the barricade and then rolls him into the ring and uh for a bit there, Mysterio tries to fight back and catches Paul in the position to be able to deliver the 619. And right as he's trying to do that, the hooded masked guy, the mysterious masked man from Survivor Series, comes into the ring and I think super kicks the life out of Mysterio and then curb stomps him again and then runs away. And Paul then like picks Mysterio up and just demolishes him with the titanium punch. And apparently offended at seeing this, LA Knight storms into the ring and Paul retreats. And Knight gets a hold of a microphone and he says, don't go anywhere. And then he sort of gestures to where the masked man ran away from, and he says, "If that's Seth Rollins, I'm going to have a damn aneurysm because I'm going to stomp his damn head in." And I'm like, "How does that give you an whatever?" Um, and he says, you know, just when he thought the Vision couldn't suck anymore, your sorry ass shows up, and seeing you do that to Rey Mysterio, a damn legend,
A damn legend.
he's pretty pissed off about it, and things haven't been going his way. So that being the case, after seeing you do this, it's time for you to pay. And he said, "I don't want to. I don't want you to pay Saturday or Friday. I want you to pay Monday, right here, right now." And he's all like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and
Yeah.
everybody's doing the LA Knight, yeah. So that match was essentially a no contest. And Finn Balor got the night off.
I think that means that he won technically.
I'm pretty sure Finn chalks that up as a win, even though it was no
Victory.
contest.
Well done.
Um, and after that particular segment, we find out in wrestling relevant news that AJ Styles and Dragon Lee will be battling Javon Evans and Leon Slater at the upcoming Saturday night's main event. And that sort of is the lead in to the third match of the night, which is AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, the defending World Tag Team Champions, versus the War Raiders, who we haven't seen for months.
I forgot they worked there.
Yeah. Um, and I think you'll probably have more based on what we talked about beforehand to say about this match. Um,
That's
do
funny.
you want me
If you
to do you want me to briefly give my thoughts, or would you like to go first?
I go for it.
I'll say this: I was glad to see the return of the War Raiders, who I feel like had dropped off the planet. Um, and similarly, we were wondering the same thing about the Creed brothers, and they show up a little bit later, kinda. So I was a little bit like, all right, let's see how the War Raiders do. Um, but this would have been an okay to good match, save for the fact that Dragon Lee just blew the hell out of a spot with Ivar. He was trying to lift him up, and it just felt like he failed. He failed to pick him up, tripped, and Ivar ends up falling into the ropes. And this is after he, you know, pretends like he was super struggling to lift the guy up the first time. So to save it, he then tries to quickly lift Ivar up, getting him up on the shoulders, and then he biffs that too. And then Ivar practically jumps on his shoulders to help out and biffs like some kind of stupid looking slam. So after all that, Dragon Lee then delivers like a complete shit ass looking hidden blade, which, you know, it was just awful. This was like the worst thing, the most amateur hour fucking get out of the ring. You have no reason to be in here. Just botch. And that just tanked this match for me. Like, this was so bad.
Yeah, I felt like there was a struggle somewhere between these two tag teams, and I'm not really sure where the struggle was. I'm kidding. It was all fucking Dragon Lee. Um, he was a nightmare. And this is maybe the third or fourth time that I've seen him get into the ring and perform as if he had just done all the cocaine. Um,
Not all the
he's
cocaine.
he's sporadic. He's too fast, too slow. Doesn't have a good grip on shit. Tries to do something and fucks it up. Tries to do like this was not a good showing. This is probably one of the worst that I've seen. And I know that you mentioned that spot between him and Ivar. Uh, and that is one of them. But in general, just in general, his move set, everything he was doing that night, like in the ring, was just cheeks. It was fucking cheek cancer. And this is a shining example. Here are my notes. Here are my notes. And I don't give a fuck what y'all gotta say with this one. Real talk. Here are my notes. This match was a shining example of how a mask and an accent does not a bandito make. WWE, listen to me very, very, very well. Okay, listen close. Get all in. Get all in. Get your snacks. Do whatever. Just bring it on in and hear me when I say, know your lane and stay in it. Trying to compete with AEW, yeah, I fucking said it. AEW, when it comes to their in ring work, I'm gonna have to ask you to stop. It's getting bad. Are you legit? Do you think? Do you think that AJ Styles, AJ, do you think that AJ Styles and Dragon Lee make a tag team that is on the same level as Brodito? I don't think it is, man. I don't think it is. Bandito has come in, and not only has he solidified himself as one of the best luchadors, like one of the best in-ring workers. This dude is amazing. Not only has he done all that, but he is incredibly strong, and he makes a habit out of doing uh bouts of strength in the ring, picking his opponent up and raising him above his head and holding him there with one arm. My man can do that because he's proven that he can do it. Okay, stop. Stop whatever the fuck this is you're doing. Dragon Lee ain't the guy. That's the wrong fucking dude. So you guys don't even know that that's the wrong dude. And I feel so bad for AJ Styles. This is like he's about to go into his last year. 2026 is according to him is his last year. I'm hoping that they take the belts, the tag team belts off of AJ and Dragon, separate the two so that AJ can go and have his singles run, hopefully a decent one. Hopefully, I have no high expectations of this because I've seen what you've done to John Cena's last run. Like I have no positive no positive encouraging words to say about it. I just see nothing but crap. I see a crapshoot. That's what I see. I see a whole pile of shit coming down the pike. So if I'm wrong, then I will be pleasantly surprised, but I doubt it. I fucking doubt it. Yeah, this match, Dragon Lee made this match horrendous, and this is not. I wouldn't hound him. I wouldn't go on and on and on about this if this were the first time. I think I'd be like, wow, this was surprising because Dragon Lee is usually this, and he's usually this, and yeah, no. Walking through the flame, I don't think so. You can't walk a straight line, my guy. Yeah, you can't. I can't walk a straight line. That should be your lyrics. The fuck out of here. Walking what
Yeah,
flames? You ain't walking in no flames. Get out of here. Nada.
yeah, no, I agree with you. It's a real shame because I had hopes for Dragon Lee, and now that they're actually trying to give him a spot, he's flubbing it. And if that upsets any Dragon Lee fans, I would like to point to the fact that the entire internet, you know, was crapping on my guy Jay Uso for similar reasons, like him not delivering in ring
Yeah.
for the spot that he's trying to hold. Well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the fucking gander.
Yeah.
But there was a high spot at the end of this match. The New Day, who were at commentary for some reason, they didn't contribute jack or
They
squat.
were annoying, fucking annoying. I say that jovial because they don't bother me with their annoyance. I find it hilarious that they're just over there at the commentary table talking and doing a fucking essentially they're doing like a video online, like a live while they're sitting at the commentary table. So they're fucking talking over Joe and Wade, and I'm like, shut up, all of you. Hilarious, but also slightly annoying.
Yeah. I found it almost exclusively annoying because I didn't think much of what they had to say was clever either. And so you take that and add it to a train wreck match, and this whole spot was kind of blown.
Fever
But
Dream.
the reason for them being out there is made clear because after the match, when AJ and Dragon Lee are holding their hands up for a job, I guess, well done. Uh, the Usos come out,
Yay.
and they come out to main event Jay Uso's yeeting his intro. They do the full intro with like
Baby stealing.
everybody in the ring just waiting on them. And then they get in there, and the New Day has entered into the ring. And everybody's looking at them like, okay, what's this about? And before anyone says anything, Jay puts the mic down and does the encore with everybody in the ring just still
No,
standing there, and they encored with like AJ Dragon and the New Day, just like, come on,
no,
dude.
Kofi said, "Don't you run it back. Don't you run it back."
And he ran it back. Now, this is
Oh,
where I found that it got entertaining. I'm sure some people will disagree because they're like, "Oh, we're so tired of that." It's still
whatever.
very
I'm tired
popular.
of y'all.
And this was better than the match that preceded it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, y'all
Um,
can wait.
so long story short, the Usos announced that they are back to being the tag division, and Jimmy goes on to kind of explain, "That's right, we back. The last couple of months have been hard. We've taken L after L, War Games, L, WrestlePalooza, L. We all took an L at WrestlePalooza.
All of
Uh,
us.
Jay losing his World Heavyweight Championship, L. Jay losing John Cena's last time is now tournament, L." Um, and so he goes on to say, "I'm sitting at home last week watching my brother crash out, and I felt some kind of way because I'm Big Brother Jim. So at 2 in the morning, once Jay got back to the hotel, I gave him a ring and I said, 'Oos, what we doing, Oos?' And that's when Jay answers and he says, 'I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna body them all. Tag division on notice. The best damn tag team is now in your city. And Big Jim, we need gold.'" And they sort of turned their attention to AJ Style, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And that puts their backs to the New Day, and the New Day take exception to this, but the Usos then respectfully super kick both of them out of the ring,
Respectfully.
leaving leaving Grayson Waller standing there looking dumb, and
Respectfully.
then to try and hopefully not get super kicked in the face, Grayson does the run it back maneuver, and they're like, "Nah, man." And so Grayson then leaves the ring of his own accord to check on the New Day.
Yeah. He yeets
And
himself from the ring.
when when the Usos turn back to Dragon Lee and AJ, they step up and get in the Usos' faces, and I guess they're kind of having a stare down to end the segment. So that was kind of the only good part of that entire match.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't clear, AJ and Dragon Lee retain because despite Dragon Lee completely making that match turn to garbage, AJ Styles hits the phenomenal elbow and gets the 1, 2, 3, so they're able to hang on to their belts.
Yeah.
Uh, Sadly, an unfortunate train wreck in what could have been, at least for the in-ring work portion of it, one of the better matches of the night. It wasn't, and it was exclusively Dragon Lee's fault.
Yep. You heard us. Your fault. Cheeks.
Miggy, Cheeks Miggy.
It's a
Uh,
shining cheeks example.
there was actually a Cheeks moment. I we were confused by what was the weirdest tag in I think we've ever seen.
Yes.
Um, Eric was the legal man, and we had to watch it back on Netflix. But Eric was the legal man, and he's standing out on the apron, and Ivar ascends. He gets into the ring and ascends to the top rope. Whereupon Eric then tags in Ivar by slapping Ivar's ass. So
And I
there was
mean,
a
the
a literal cheeks moment.
yeah, the thing is, he waited until that dude's ass was in perfect position. Like he could have tapped his leg, his shoulder, anything. My man waited until Ivar had the right arch in his back for for a mega cheek slap. My man, like he could have just fucking shine like fucking shine up his fingertips. Like he went all in on that ass. All in. Oh, I don't
Yeah,
like that. Pause. I
yeah,
don't like
all
it.
in. And not only was that the weird, but that wasn't the weirdest part. Like that was just like, but the fact that the legal man was on the apron tagging in the not yet legal competitor who was
Right.
already in the ring was highly confusing because immediately following that, Ivar hits a moonsault and tries to go for the pin. And we're like, well, now wait a minute. Wasn't Eric the legal man? So that's part of why we watched it back.
Yeah,
So
like two or three times. We
it
have
was
to
a
watch that
confusing
man get his ass spanked 2 or 3 times.
it was a confusing
How
situation
dare you?
because we couldn't track who was legal to see if they had goofed up on who should be pinning who.
Yeah,
But it turns out that it was just the most odd way we've seen someone tag their partner in because he was already in the ring and you were out of there. It was very strange.
yeah.
So yeah, just a train wreck that whole situation, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to have just been happy that the War Raiders got some television time. Um,
Instead, I was traumatized because I had to watch Ivar get spanked by Eric lovingly like 2 or 3 times.
repeatedly, yeah. Uh, Speaking of loving spanks and cheeks, we next come to a segment where Jackie Redmond is going to call Stephanie Vaquer to the ring again.
If I may,
You absolutely may.
because this kind, I actually this kind of felt like deja vu again. Um,
Yep.
right, and at least this time, Stephanie Vaquer had got a chance to say a bit more before she was interrupted. But she was, and you called it. She was interrupted again by Nikki Bella, who was coming out gum bumping. Now, what I liked about this segment, however, is that she did not gum bump for long because Raquel Rodriguez came out and legit ruffle stomped her. Okay, like she was on the floor, like her, like she was like an upside down starfish, like she she was done. She got picked up and ran into the corner of the ring by Raquel. She became a human dart. Uh, for Raquel, and then she died, and there she remains. Legend has it, she's still there to this day.
To
Like
this
she
day.
got, yeah, she yamshed herself, like the wind's blowing, and it's when it's just her, just burp, flies, everything. Um, but I actually feel like there was great storytelling here in that particular segment. Just with Nikki coming out, talking her trash, saying that it's not over between them, and then Raquel coming out of nowhere and absolutely obliterating her. We're talking about a Hall of Famer here. And she said it best herself. She was very concerned about coming back and getting squashed by the newer, stronger talent, the female talents back there, because this is not the same WWE or not the same women's division that Nikki was a part of when she was like a champ or whatever. Like this is not the same. So I really, really appreciate it with the storytelling here, because this was showing us through both Nikki and Raquel that shit has changed in the women's division since last Nikki was around. So I really enjoyed that. So Raquel gets into the ring to let Stephanie Vaquer know that she wants a shot at the belt, and Stephanie always has a very adorable, like inquisitive yet deadly look on her face. So she was looking at Raquel like, this is a big bitch, but I've stumped bigger. Like she was looking at her like, let's do this
Yeah.
then. So this was probably one of my favoriteest interactions of this show. Just the storytelling here. the Nikki obliteration. No offense to Nikki, but I think she was a great sport here too because honestly, this was really good in letting everybody know like this is not the same women's division. We're not doing that diva bullshit here. It's about to get real. And so, yeah, I was a huge fan of this segment.
I was too. Before this spot happened, we kind of had an idea because the Joe and Wade kind of tell you, well, we're coming to Jackie Redmond and she's going to interview Stephanie McCurr, and we're like, oh, this again. And I even said, like in real time, I'm like, I guarantee you, if Nikki Bella doesn't attack her again, she's going to come out and be like, well, we're not done yet. And that's exactly how it played out until it didn't.
Yeah.
Raquel shows up and just bodies Nikki like, I'm sorry, you were in my way.
Yeah.
And then she steps like she owns it. This was perfect Raquel for Raquel. She steps into the ring like she owns it, and I think she said something in Spanish briefly before this, but then she says, "Name the time, name the place, and I'll be there to kick your ass and take your title, Bera." And it was
Perro.
flawless. It was flawless. This was Raquel at like perfect. Like she nailed it and was
Yeah.
absolutely big mommy cool.
Yeah.
Um and you're right, like I would hate to play poker with Stephanie Vaquer because she's got like just the stone face, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she was unfazed, but it was awesome. And that is a much more interesting matchup than anything further with Nikki Bella. So I'm really glad that I was right but wrong, right? In that
Yeah.
scenario. Because it would have been exhausting to do anything further between Vaquer and Nikki Bella.
I agree.
And I'm thrilled to death with Raquel stepping up, and kind of where this ends up leading with regards to Raquel's dynamic in the Judgment Day and their spots a little bit later that we'll talk about. But in an evening that at this point felt mediocre to bad, especially after Dragon Lee's just shitting in the ring. Um, this was good. This was legit good. This was a good part of this show.
Yeah. Absolutely. Probably like one of my favoriteest highlights of the night.
Indeed. Um, we are then treated to a John Cena tribute video package, one of many, many, many that will occur in this episode. So much so that we spent a large portion of the episode making fun of things, going me, 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 because I felt like we were hearing that slow, you know,
The slow
tribute
trumpet. Uh-huh.
with the trumpet like so many times on this particular episode of Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, right? It's the last time is now, but man, did you run this into the ground. Like, if a little is good, more must apparently be the best.
Me,
And
me, me, me.
yeah, and it a lot of it was for this interview segment that John Cena did with, I don't know, some guy from Fox or something. And they played so many little different portions of it that all started with the me me
Me,
me me.
me, me.
Like I'm like, what's left? Like presumably you want us to go watch this thing, but like you've shown us most of it by the end of the night because you did this so many times.
Sneeze, sneeze.
Yeah, seriously. But following that, we head to the Judgment Day's clubhouse, where Finn Balor is happy to have an easy night
He's
at the
so
office.
happy. He's so happy.
And of course, Dominic Mysterio is thrilled that Ray got his ass demolished and says, I don't know who the masked man is, but I kind of like the guy. And that's when Raquel walks in, and Liv Morgan and Roxanne are there as well. And Liv wants to know what all that was about. And Raquel says that Nikki ruined her shot at the women's championship, so she was making sure she wouldn't do it again. And Liv says, no, I get that, but you didn't tell me anything. And Raquel was like, I didn't realize we had to run everything by you. And Liv's like, well, wait, no, you don't. But I want to be able to support you the best way I can. And I can't wait for you to become the women's world champion. Sure. Um, and Raquel tells Liv
Sure.
that she's well, great, then I'm gonna go talk to Adam Pierce about my upcoming title match. And Raquel leaves. And so Liv turns and tells Roxanne that she's going to be in Roxy's corner tonight. And Roxanne's like, well, that's great, but why? And Liv wants to make sure that nothing happens to her because if Raquel's going after the women's heavyweight championship, it's her and Liv then that are going for the women's tag championships. And Roxanne's like, okay. And they both leave. And Dom's just like, they're bonding. It's good.
Chicks, am I right?
Chicks, am I right? Exactly. And that brings us to the fourth match of the night, which
I
is
just really quickly, I do want to say that that is actually pretty refreshing. Because we all thought that Liv was gonna come back and be a super bitch. Um, but instead, they have these three women that let's be honest, it would be better if they were going at each other's throats because these three women working together is a nightmare. Uh, to any like uh tag team group in the women's division, any singles competitor, just nightmare fuel. Honestly, these three nightmare. They got the size, they got the strength, they got the speed, agility with these three ladies. So that's pretty scary if they're all on the same page.
yeah. We'll see if that continues. I have big
Right.
skeptical face that
Yeah,
Liv is as cool with this as she's playing.
I don't think it's going to continue for long, but it is refreshing to see these women working together instead of immediate I'm going to claw these bitches eyes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I agree. It was at least it's convincing that they're playing well with each other for now.
For now. Yeah.
But Liv is a gremlin. Let us not forget.
She is the
Um,
tiniest gremlin.
the most gremliniest. Uh, but the fourth match of the night, Lyra Valkyria with Bailey versus Roxanne Perez with Liv Morgan. And I want to say there was an interview segment briefly earlier in the evening with, what was it, Baron Sextant, where he was talking to Bailey, and Bailey introduced, like when she was saying something about the tag team and introduced their name, she said, "We are Lyra and Valkyria." Like, you're not though. You're Lyra, Valkyria, and Bailey. You're not Lyra and Valkyria. So as they're making their way to the ring for this match, I remember making a lot of fun over the fact of like, well, okay, so who is this gal again? Is this They say it's Bailey, but earlier she was Valkyria. So which one is it? So just picking on her. But
Yes,
I thought it was pretty
he said
funny.
that a lot, guys.
I thought it was pretty hilarious that Bailey forgot who she was in that interview with Baron Sextant. Um That said, for this particular match, what were your thoughts on it?
uh this in all honesty is probably match of the night for me. Um and for many reasons, but I'll try to keep it short. Great storytelling in the ring, like in the ring work here was good. But having Liv Morgan back is going to be a nightmare for the women's division. Until this little unholy triangle of PMS is dealt with, it's gonna be a nightmare. And it was on full display here for this match. Liv was the deciding factor here, as like again, and she's so smooth and quick and just downright evil with it. But she was the deciding factor as far as who was going to win this match. And if she wasn't around, I don't think Roxy would have won it. I think Lyra would have bested her. Um, but yeah, no, I thought this was a really good match. Storytelling was good. The in-ring work was good. The ladies being Lyra and uh Liv
Roxanne.
Morgan in many cases, or in many instances here, and Roxanne, they all did a great job of entertaining the audience, which was kind of few and far between this match or this episode. Um yeah, this one was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think this match, while it
Like they
did
could have
contain
stopped
a
here.
story, yeah, this match, while it did contain storyline elements, felt like it didn't feel like the match existed exclusively to do that. Like I felt
Yeah.
like there was an actual match going on between Lyra and Roxy, and both of these women looked pretty good. There was a point, there were a couple of points that I'd like to spotlight. There was a point where Lyra Valkyria, I want to say, power bombed the crap out of Roxy, and it was fantastic. And both of these women clearly have a strong understanding of the Northern Lights suplex. Um, Lyra, I think, hit Roxy with one twice, and Roxy hit her back with one once. Um, and I was really impressed near the end of the match where Liv Morgan is up on the apron trying to distract the ref a little bit. Bailey just drills her face first into the apron, and so she's laying there recovering, and Lyra kind of gets sent that direction towards the ropes, and Liv manages to disguise a tremendous kick to Lyra Valkyria, and then rolls off the apron as if she got knocked off the apron. It was wonderful in that it was very subtle and well disguised as, her just getting off the apron. One of the better ones that I've seen, because sometimes that sort of a maneuver looks so obvious that it's like, how did the ref miss it? This I could believe the ref wouldn't see or wouldn't think was intentional. It was well done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Kind of mid
you're
water swallow. But yeah, I absolutely agree.
you're probably right that this for in-ring work was probably match of the night. It would either be this or Kyrie and Io, because that's really the only options. And
Yeah.
I think at this juncture, I was more impressed with it here because Io and Rhea Ripley and the Kabuki Warriors kind of have that name presence going for them. So this, I think, was more well done with some of the names that haven't been there as much. And that's not to take anything away from like Liv or Bailey, but Liv hasn't been there for a while. Well, she clearly didn't forget how to do her thing.
Yeah.
So that was really good to see, actually. I found myself much more interested. Um, so I tend to agree with you. On a night where there wasn't a lot of worthwhile in-ring or match action, this was probably the high spot of the evening thus far.
Yeah. No, it's the highlight of the evening. That's it. No need to add the
Yeah.
thus far part.
Well, I'm leaving it open because we haven't discussed the rest of the show.
Yeah,
Uh
I was right.
I know.
Okay.
Um so after that match, we've got a WrestleMania 42 promo teaser again. And I guess this time it was Tiffany's turn. Um and after that, we have a montage of Natalia and Maxine Dupree training. And initially, I think we were looking at it and we were like, isn't this the same one we saw? but it wasn't. This
Yeah.
one actually kind of furthered the story. If you saw the prior kind of black and white training montage with her and Natalia, Maxine's going through it with, I guess, training partners, and then Natalia steps in and Natalia bodies Maxine. Well, in this particular one, Maxine is bodying everybody, and then Natalia gets in, and it's a struggle, but she gets bodied by Maxine, and once it's over, Maxine's like, again. So they're basically conveying to us through these montages that Maxine is becoming a serious threat. And I actually liked this particular montage.
Yeah. I liked it. It was good. I just wish they had done that before she got a belt.
Fair enough. Um, we then get another little bit of a clip from the gentleman's name is Tom Rinaldi, who had the sit down interview with John Cena. Meef, 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 meef. Um, and we get I want to say the second full review of the match card for Saturday night's main event from Joe and Wade. And I will say, Joe, I'm not a fan of Joe Tessitore. I think I've been very clear about that. And tonight he did not earn any fan points from me because it seemed like anytime he had like two or more sentences to say in a row, he tripped over his words. And I'm sitting there thinking, dude, like this is literally your only job. Like wrestlers have to get up there and cut promos and are expected not to trip over their words, but you are literally only a ring announcer. Come on, man.
You need to do better.
Seriously. Joey Swole's gonna show up. Um, but that leads us to the fifth match of the night, which is LA Knight versus Logan Paul with Paul Heyman. And, you know, if you were sick of LA Knight getting his ass kicked, well, that's not changing anytime soon, apparently. I don't know that I came into this match thinking it was going to be anything but the entirety of the Vision, like, wailing on LA Knight. I don't even know why LA Knight would think it would be anything other than that. Were you hoping that Logan Paul's like winning track record of sportsmanship was gonna? I don't know. I don't know what you were thinking. And this match was entirely just for storyline. Like it might as well have not even been a match. Like they did offer the pretense of some bit of a match before, you know, the masked man from War Games showed up and stomped LA
Again.
Knight's face on the table outside, and then the masked man just rolls LA Knight in and allows Logan Paul to pick up the victory, and then after that the entirety of the Vision proceeds to beat the shit out of LA Knight. Then they cut a promo, and then somewhere late in their promo, we see on the Titantron that LA Knight, who was being helped to the back by, you know, the referee corps and medics and all that, is like, no, I ain't done getting my ass whooped. And so Logan and Big Bronson Reed take off to the back, where they catch up with him and proceed to just start demolishing LA Knight, putting him first through a table and then carrying him all the way to the parking lot, where they punch him all the way to the roof of like, I don't know, a Corolla or something. And Big Bronson Reed does a tsunami on LA Knight through the roof of a car. Not basically a callback to the spot he did with Braun Strowman when they had their monsters fight.
Yeah.
And so now LA Knight is demolished. Like he had like 8 billion tsunamis for dinner, and he's probably going to be out until WrestleMania or something. You know, I don't know, but he got his ass beat. And that's kind of how the show goes off the air, is with Adam Pearce yelling at Bronson Reed and Logan Paul while Bronson Reed tries to get up off the car and back onto the ground. Um, and that was that. Uh, that said, what would you rate this episode of WWE Monday Night Raw?
Um, it wasn't top tier for me. This was a wrestling show, and this was surprising compared to the Monday before, which was just a banger. Um, this was for a wrestling show. The weakest part was the wrestling. Um, it was kind of, even if it was technically decent, it was boring. It was safe. So the matches that were good were safe, and the ones that were bad were just, I mean, they were pretty unsafe. Like Dragon Lee is kind of a nightmare. And I'd be very concerned if working with him in the ring. I just would be. Um, but to keep this short, I'm just gonna say this was probably a 6.5 at most. After going back over it, I was willing to give it a 7, which it wouldn't have been top tier anyway. But I was willing to give it a 7 last night after actually reviewing it and going over it this morning. I 6.5 I think is generous. Um I think I'd be okay with giving this one maybe a 6. It just wasn't, the stuff that was good wasn't enough to make the show good. And the stuff that was bad was pretty much everything else. So yeah.
Yeah. For my rating, I think we're going to see eye to eye on a lot of that. There was a lot that was not good this episode. Some little, some big, uh, but certainly enough when taken as a whole to bring the
Yeah.
rating down.
Mhm.
None of the matches were standout, being a
Mm-mm.
mix of at best all right to bad. Bailey, a veteran referring to her team with Lyra as Lyra and Valkyria, was amusing but dumb. Joe Tess, who I already don't like much, couldn't say 2 sentences this evening without messing them up. Dragon Lee completely blew the
Ugh.
spot with Ivar so bad that it honestly tanked that entire match for me, which is unfortunate because there were 3 other men in it and he just scrapped their work. Um, there was so much promotion time. Like it's on record that Raw has like a shit ton of commercials. Like that it is a commercial that happens to feature some wrestling. But it felt extra that because there was so much promotion of John Cena's interview with Tom Rinaldi that like I said, we were making fun of the slow horn. Like meef 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 meef. We had more fun making fun of the show than we did with the
Mm.
actual show. That along with what was is already their excessive commercials and what felt like a half dozen WrestleMania in Las Vegas spots and 2 full rundowns in the show of the Saturday Night Main Event full card. I felt like I was fast forwarding through so much. It was repetitive and obnoxious
Yeah.
and feeling very thin on anything actually worth seeing this episode. What was good was Raquel making a move towards Vaquer's title, and I was also happy with the Usos' return announcement. And that's pretty much it. This made for a very trying episode, honestly. So my rating is going to be a 5.5 because this is the definition of mid tier. It is completely skippable as an episode of Raw, unfortunately. That would be my review. So anyone who's listening to wonder, should, I go back and watch this? I wouldn't. You're not going to miss anything, and it's going to be 3 hours of your life you're not going to get back.
Yeah.
So that has been our review of WWE's Monday Night Raw, and I want to thank everybody who joined us for this episode. And I invite you to join us for our next episode, which will most likely be our coverage of Saturday night's main event. As is often the case, we will most likely not cover SmackDown since we're covering Saturday night's main event, and possibly not the Monday Night Raw after, but it depends. Like, usually that's for like a massive PLE. Like
Yeah.
we're exhausted from watching 17 hours worth of wrestling for Full Gear or something, you know? Um, so it'll really depend on timing and what we're able to get done. Uh, but yes, our next episode will most likely be Saturday night's main event. And I'm really hoping it delivers, as it is
Mhm.
the end of John Cena's legendary career.
Yeah.
So, so me.
Me.
With all that said, there is nothing left for me to do but roll the outro.
Me. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest WWE news and shows. You can find us on all major podcast platforms as well as our YouTube channel where we upload all of our episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram and X for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.